I want to tell you about one of my biggest professional regrets. Not a deal that went wrong, not a partner that burned me, not a market that turned at the wrong time. My biggest professional regret is something I did not do, something I could have done on day one of my career in real estate and did not do for 13 years. And what is that, you ask? Well, I did not get my real estate license. And I want to tell you why, because the reason I did not get it is a bit embarrassing. And because I think a lot of you are making the same type of mistake right now for the same or different reasons. I started in this industry as a loan officer, 7 years in mortgage lending, creative transactions, wraparound mortgages, personal investing, some wholesaling on the side, and I was not a passive observer of real estate. I was in it every day. And during those 7 years, I worked with a lot of agents. Most of them frustrated me. Some infuriated me. As a loan officer, you see the mistakes agents make, the corners they cut, the deals they nearly kill. You develop opinions, strong ones. Mine was that most real estate agents were incompetent con men with a license to commit fraud. That is how I actually felt. I'm not softening it here. And here is what makes my regret even harder to sit with. When I first got into the mortgage industry, my broker told me I should get my real estate license. He called it a license to kill. I knew exactly what he meant. Combining a mortgage license with a real estate license opens up every door in the industry. He had seen it work. He was telling me from experience. Now, I heard him, I understood him, and like an idiot, I ignored him. So I was not someone who missed an obvious opportunity. I was someone who was told about it directly, understood the value of it, and still let my feelings about agents talk me out of it. Wholesaling gave me some real wins. People in my area started to consider me something of an expert. That felt good. But I could not get over the hump financially. The volume was never consistent. I tried partners, and that is a whole other video. I tried note buying, commercial real estate, acquiring businesses. I even started buying storage lockers. I enjoyed learning about all of it, but none of it was the answer. And the frustrating part was I kept finding leads, good ones, motivated sellers, distressed properties, but most of them did not fit my wholesale criteria. Not enough equity, seller not open to a discount, numbers did not work for an investor. I would tell them to find an agent and move on to the next one. For 6 years, I did exactly that. Then one day, my wife said something to me. She had watched me for a long time. She saw that I was troubled about my business, that I was grinding, trying new things, unable to find what was missing. And she sat down with me and said something that hit me like a freight train. Why don't you get your real estate license? You know just as much about real estate as any agent, probably more, and you find all kinds of houses you could probably sell for people. I sat with that for a moment, and then it hit me. All those leads I had been sending away, all those sellers I told to find an agent, all those properties that did not work for a wholesaler but would have sold just fine on the open market, every single one of those was an opportunity I walked away from. I had been watching money walk out my front door and into other people's pockets for 6 years. Not because the opportunity wasn't there, because I had decided before I ever seriously considered it that being a real estate agent was not something I was willing to do. Here is the honest accounting. I did not get my real estate license for 13 years because I hated real estate agents. That is it. That is the whole reason. Not the type of hate where I wanted something bad to happen to them. I just hated dealing with them. My emotions, my bias, my pride, my years of watching agents nearly kill transactions hardened into a judgment I applied to the entire profession. And that judgment blinded me to the most obvious move available to someone in my position. And this may sound a little funny. When my wife suggested it, my first reaction, and I'm not kidding, was that it felt like joining the dark side, like signing a contract with the devil. I actually felt a little dirty inside just considering it. And I want you to really hear that. I was not uninformed. I had 13 years in real estate and mortgage at that point. I had done creative deals most agents couldn't explain. I had a broker who told me directly to get licensed. And I still let my emotions override my judgment for over a decade. This is what bias does. It does not care how smart you are. It blinds you to the possibilities sitting right in front of you. I studied, I took the state exam, and I passed. And honestly, it was pretty easy for me. It was probably the best professional move I ever made. When I started as an agent, I did well and quickly, mostly because I already had systems in place and I looked for leads in channels that most agents do not pay much attention to. The skills I built as a wholesaler and loan officer translated directly. I was not starting over, I was finally using everything I had built. The last time I checked, I still hold the record for most homes sold in my area at the brokerage I worked for at the time. And here's something else that happened. The agents I spent years dismissing, the ones I had written off as incompetent or dishonest, I realized they were just people trying to make a living. The same as me. There are good and bad people in every industry. I had taken the worst examples I encountered as a loan officer and decided they represented everyone. They did not. Here's the part I want you to sit with. I should have gotten my real estate license when I first entered the mortgage industry. Day one, week one, year one. Not after 7 years as a loan officer, not after 6 years as a wholesaler. From the beginning. The license would not have taken me away from loan originating. It would not have stopped me from doing creative deals or wholesaling. It would have added to everything I was already doing. It would have given me a legal and legitimate way to earn a commission on every deal that did not fit my other criteria, which, as I now know, was most of them. I sent those people away for 13 years. I think about that sometimes, not to torture myself, but because it is a useful and honest accounting of what happens when you let emotion make your professional decisions. So here's what I want to say to you directly. If you're getting into real estate, wholesaling, bird dogging, investing, lending, any of it, consider getting a real estate license. Not necessarily the agent path, not because you want to list houses for a living if that is not your goal, but as a tool, as a door that opens other doors. A real estate license lets you earn a commission on a deal that does not work as a wholesaler. It gives you legal access to the MLS. It allows you to represent buyers and sellers in transactions that would otherwise produce nothing for you. It adds a revenue stream to everything else you are doing, not instead of it. Now, I am not a huge fan of real estate agents, even though I am one. There is genuine abuse in the industry. There are bad agents who make a lot of money and are held in high regard despite having quietly harmed people for decades with a smile. I will not pretend otherwise. But the pros of having a real estate license far outweigh the cons. The license opens more doors than it closes, and the barrier to entry is lower than most people think. One more thing before I go. Go look up some of the most popular real estate and wholesaling gurus on YouTube. The ones teaching you how to wholesale without a license. The ones telling you that you do not need a license to make money in real estate. What may surprise you is a lot of them have a real estate license. They do not always tell you that. Some do, but many don't. Think about what that means. They're teaching you a strategy they present as license free while using their own license behind the scenes to do things you legally cannot do without one. They earn commissions on deals through their license. They have MLS access. They have legal standing in transactions because they are real estate licensees. They just do not mention it in their videos. I am not calling anyone dishonest, but there is a difference between what they teach and how they actually operate. and you deserve to know that difference exists before you decide a license is not for you. I let my emotions and my bias towards real estate agents blind me to a possibility that was sitting right in front of me for 13 years. I am telling you all this so you don't spend the next 13 years making the same mistake. Whatever bias you are carrying into this industry, whatever category of person or strategy or approach you have already decided is beneath you or not for you, you should examine it. Be honest about whether it's based on evidence or on feeling, because feelings make expensive decisions. Be open and strongly consider getting your real estate license. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll talk to you next time.